Welcome back to the streets of Marrakesch in Morocco, where the cars are already out on the grid under still cloudy skies, but on dry track conditions. And as you can see, the brakes getting a lot of work here. Some very major stops in this street circuit. Facu Regalia, the Argentine driver, who starts on the back row of the grid after failing to finish race one. And crowd in the grandstands and lining the circuit, also watching from every vantage point they can. And with our pole position man, having finished 8th in race one, the top 8 get reversed. Antonio Spavoni is the man on pole from Daniel de Jong, with Sergei Sorokin, who started on pole position for race one, lining up 3rd from Giacomo Ricci. Ricci hoping for a podium finish at least here. Chris van der Drift, Paul Verhoek, and the top 2 in race one, Adrian Quave-Hobbs and Sergio Campana, the first-time winner, starts 7th and 8th ahead of Jan Cunha, Francesco Gatroni, Giancarlo Serenelli, Michele La Rosa, Max Snegerev, all finished in those positions. Then the retirees, Victor Guerin, Facu Regalia and Giuseppe Cipriani. Well, that should have a rag on the back, really, shouldn't it, for health and safety reasons? Health and safety, I don't think they spell that particularly frequently here in Morocco. Meanwhile, back on the track, here is Giuseppe Cipriani, the hotel and restaurant owner, and the only man on the grid who raced in the championship regularly last season in AutoGP. The AutoGP World Series now having its first non-European race, its first ever street race as well. Facu Regalia starts on the inside of row 8 of the grid. So he's in 15th position. Car re-established in running order after he lost it in turn 9, 10, 11, the first of the back straight chicanes early in yesterday's race. Number 11 machine, Victor Guerin, we don't actually see what happened to him. Caught up with David Sears, the Supernova boss. He had a spin as well. Damaged the car early in the race. So the young Brazilian will have some work to do from here. First street race for AutoG produced a real lights to flag thriller. Lots of action going on. Hoping for much more of the same here in race 2. Max Snegerev didn't qualify. He had a gearbox issue that would not allow the car out on track during qualifying, so he had to start right from the back of the field. Made good progress and then undid it all with a spin and then another one. He really started to struggle after, I think, probably just losing a little bit of confidence in either himself or in the car, neither of which is particularly helpful on a street circuit where there is no room at all for error. Snegerev starts 13th, Michele La Rosa starts 12th. He's the boss of the team he races for, MLR 71. Michele La Rosa 71, and they scored their first ever win as a team in race 1. His teammate winning it, Sergio Campana, and the team was only created in the winter specifically to race in this championship. So for a group brought together with one task, to race in this championship, to score a win here on the toughest track they've been to so far, impressive stuff. Giancarlo Serenelli from Venezuela, he will start in 11th position, 30-year-old from Caracas, the 2011 and 2010 winner of the Formula Latam Championship, using Tartus chassis, very similar to the Formula Renault Euro Cup cars, but with 2-litre Volkswagen engines. He's raced in that in the last 3 years, won it in the last 2. Just in front of him, Francesco Draconi starts in 10th place for Virtuosi UK, another brand new team set up to come and compete in this championship. They did another good job. Paul Verhoek starting very well from the outside the front row of the grid yesterday, leading until the pit stop, and they brought him in late. He was cruising away at the front, or not cruising away, but certainly holding his lead at the front. Then unfortunately Paul stalled the car as it was being brought down off the jacks and cost himself the chance to win the race. Jan Cunha lying 9th on the grid. Just missed getting into the top 8 and then being reversed onto pole for the race. Now they're using soft and super soft tyres here this weekend. The drivers all have to use both compounds. I think everybody used both during the race, with yellow markings, yellow Kumo markings on the sidewall. It's the soft with no markings on the sidewall. As you can see on the front here of the car, that is the super soft. So this is our race one winner here, Sergio Campana, and he looked very aggressive when he was in second place behind Paul Verhoeven for the early part of the race, and looked very confident indeed despite very warm tyres at the end when he was holding off this man, Adrian Quave-Hobbs, who charged up from fifth place, had a really good run into second spot and gave it absolutely everything in the final few laps to try and unseat Campana from the win. Nevertheless, he took an early pit stop and ran up to second place, holds his championship lead. Indeed, extended it over Paul Verhoeven, who was the early race leader, was utterly despondent yesterday after the race, having given away a guaranteed or near guaranteed race victory. He stayed out long, had a good pit stop, team under no pressure, and then unfortunately the Norwegian just lost the engine as he was dropped down off the jacks, and they had to get the remote starter back out to restart the car. The team recovered well. Unfortunately, the few seconds lost were a yawning lifetime in terms of track time. So far, Haug's starting on the outside of row 3 of the grid in 6th position. 5th on the grid is Kiwi Chris van der Drift. Van der Drift 4th in yesterday's race, looking to try and get himself onto the podium again. He was 2nd in race 2 at Monza, behind winner Paul Verhoeven, and he's certainly in a position now where he could challenge to get himself onto the race 2 podium here. There was lots of overtaking in the first encounter on the streets yesterday, and I anticipate that the drivers will have more of the same this time. Super softs again on the front of Giacomo Ricci's car, winner in GP2 over the last couple of seasons. Giacomo did the Monza race for Zelle Racing and is back again, and he's been recruited by the team to try and get some good results for their car, get good setup for the car, and to prove that they are capable of running other drivers at the front. And unfortunately, he is feeling very disappointed with himself for not having been able to produce the results that he and they both know he's capable of so far. However, he starts in 4th. Again, he'll be looking to try and get on the podium. Sergei Sorokin started on pole at Monza, fluffed it, stalled the car, got pushed away from the pit lane 3 laps later, and fluffed pole here as well. Apparently, he said he didn't see the lights, didn't know that the race was starting. Well, he's still young, just 16 years old, Sergei, so he's still got time to recover from errors like that, but he can't be giving away pole positions when they're so hard fought. Sorokin lines up 3rd. Daniel de Jong, the Dutchman, will start on the outside, the front row of the grid. 2nd place. You can see the yellow markings on the tyre there on the front of the car, so he's got softs on the front. Couldn't quite see what was on the back. We'll try and catch up with that, though. And the man who sits on pole position, 8th in race 1, it is Antonio Spavone. And so Antonio with an opportunity now, perhaps particularly on the street circuit, to score a first race of the season for Euronova, score a first race win. And the Euronova team would certainly like that. So far in 5 races, we've had 3 different winners, I beg your pardon, 4 different winners. And we look for perhaps our 5th different winner here today. Cars are on track, ready for the start of race 2 in Marrakesch for the AutoGP World Series, and the Euronova racing team with poleman Antonio Spavone leading the field round. Adrian Quave-Hobbs, 2nd in yesterday's first encounter, is our championship leader from long-time race 1 leader Paul Verhoeven, Sergei Sorokin the poleman, and Chris van der Drift. Well, you can see the drivers' points, and everybody using a combination of soft and super soft tyres at the moment, and the compulsory 2-tyre pit stop will also take place during this race as in the first, which adds a little bit of extra pressure to the teams as well as to the drivers, because often case the only thing that's likely to happen in a pit stop is a bit of a drama, and the teams will have to be very cool and calm about it, particularly under pressure if their drivers come in with a narrow lead or chasing somebody hard. Well, everybody, I believe, in race one fulfilled the need to run both different compounds for the weekend, so they're free to choose what they want or what they've got left, and free to make their pit stops as and when they like after the pit window opens. Overboost will take the engine 8 times in a race from its rev limit of 9,100 RPM up to 9,500 RPM. And what that means is, well, we saw very clearly yesterday down this back straight, Adrian Quaife Hobbs got a great run out of chicane, got alongside eventual race winner Sergio Campana, and Campana had an overboost left and was able just to inch in front with every gear shift. He had another 400 RPM. Doesn't sound like a lot, it's not a lot, but it was just enough that instead of being level wheel to wheel with Quaife Hobbs on the inside, there was a half car overlap, and in the end Adrian said, I just had to give it to him or we were going to have an almighty accident. And that's the difference that the overboost can make in the race. It can give a driver just the tiniest extra opportunity. It's not as big as a DRS, but it does give them a little bit of a tiny edge with which to make an overtaking or a defending move. Quaife Hobbs, who qualified only 5th, used 3 of his push-to-passes on the first lap alone, and then another group chasing down the leaders. So 8 times they can use the over-rev. Everybody on the pit walls getting ready for the start of this race. Maximum of 40 minutes for the race. Let's see what it holds for us here. The grid is complete, ready for round 6 of the AutoGP World Series. 19 laps or 40 minutes, away they go. Lots of wheel spin from Antonio Spadoni, very slow from Daniel de Jong. Giacomo Ricci gets by him. Ricci being challenged by Sergei Sorokin. Ricci with the red wings is in 2nd place. Sorokin on the left-hand side of your picture, trying to go wide around the outside. Will that work for him? It did in race 1, and he's going for the lead in race 2, and he's got it. Sergei Sorokin around the outside of the leader, around the outside of the 2nd place man. Everybody else shuffling themselves around. He was astonishing through there in race 1 after a tardy getaway past 2 cars that are already side by side, and he's done it again. It is Sorokin under pressure now from Giacomo Ricci, and again it looked like both of them using the over-rev at the start. Chris van der Drift with the yellow highlights is 3rd. 4th place is our race 1 winner, 5th place is Sergio Campana. I beg your pardon, 6th place is Sergio Campana. Well, that's out of date because Ricci is 2nd and Sorokin is the leader, surely. No, it is Giacomo Ricci down in 5th position, so it's Antonio Spadoni rather who got into 2nd place, or who was passed for the lead by Sorokin, and the overboost in use again all the way down the back straight. So let's get this right. Sorokin leads, then Spadoni, yellow is van der Drift, black and orange is de Jong in 4th place ahead of Giacomo Ricci, so he's made that move. And then is Ricci and the black car with the red highlights you looked at there, Sergio Campana. He's the race 1 winner, he's in 6th position, ahead of Paul Verhoeven, Adrian Quaife Hobbs in 8th spot. And it'll be Sergei Sorokin who loses at the end of the first lap. We've got to get another look when things quieten down at that run into the first chicane. That was genius. Michele La Rosa outbreaks himself, and through goes Francesco Dracone. Here comes Ricci challenging de Jong to take that 4th place back. De Jong gets in deep into corner 2 and 3. I beg your pardon, into 4 and 5. They sweep around corner 6. That was 2 and 3. Here they come down towards 4 and 5. And Sergei Sorokin hauling away. Spadoni under pressure from van der Drift with the yellow highlights as in comes Max Snegerev. He's tangled with somebody, new nose will have to go on. And Snegerev's weekend does not get any better, but the nose ring completely down on the ground, carving into his tyre as well. Here's van der Drift under pressure from teammate de Jong. Daniel de Jong's got his teeth in the bit. Here we go, he's on the over-rev as well. Gives him 400 extra RPM in each gear, and he goes by. Well, now it's as and when you use it. You have got it at your disposal at any time, but only 8 times of asking. The over-rev lasts for up to 25 seconds, which is a decent slice of the track. Works through all the gears. The question is when you use it to attack. It went to defender De Jong. Oh, got it wrong under braking, clatters into Spavone, and the Euronova driver tagged out of the race. De Jong, it looks like, has lost the engine. I think Spavone might have kept it alive. Sorokin now with a big lead. Van der Drift second. Giacomo Ricci in third. Come on, Giacomo, let's see the pace we saw out of you in GP2. Campana fourth, and this is the replay. De Jong lunges to the inside, knows it's not going to work, changes his mind, and there's no way of avoiding our race to pole sitter Antonio Spavone. And the Euronova Racing boys, there's the reaction. I shan't be translating their reaction. It was not very favourable, I'm afraid. Now they're going to bump start the car, and they're going to push it towards the pit lane. The pit lane entrance was behind them. Yellow flags are out at the end of the lap. Van der Drift pulling away from Ricci, who's trailing a plastic bag. Ahead of Campana, Farhaug, Quaife Hobbs up to 6th. Second and third place men vacating the race as they rattle through the middle chicane on the back straight, approaching there at around 160 miles an hour in these cars. Down to 12, 13, 14, this little flick-flack over the curbs. Vigorous yellow flag waving. It's not just 2 stationary cars, there's a whacking great crane there as well. Chris Van der Drift, you should not be looking up under yellow flags. Giacomo Ricci in his periphery can clearly see something flicking around, so I'm having a good long look at it there. As much as you dare, turn your head away from the straight ahead. And I think he'll probably be relatively happy that the bag is making a nuisance of itself, but not actually affecting the car very much. It's just a bit of debris, and it shouldn't be having a big effect on cooling. It's just snagged around the edge of the air duct. There is Giacomo Ricci, the white car with the black and red highlights, in third, ahead of race 1 winner Sergio Campana. Let's take a look at the start. Watch the man in third place on the grid. Lots of wheel spin from Sorokin, but the pole man moves across. Sorokin's got a good run down his right-hand side. And again, watch him here, around the outside of Ricci, around the outside of Spavone, dives to the apex, same as he did recovering from a bad start in race 1 to move up 2 or 3 places. And that's also where the tangle happened with this man, Max Snegerev, who's already made 1 stop. Spavone in the pit lane as well, but because he was push-started, he is out, and that is a wretched end to a race that promised much for Euronova. Well, no fault of his own, but I'm afraid sometimes these things happen in motor racing. I'm sure Daniel De Jong won't be high on his Christmas card list. This is what happened. De Jong, the second of the 2 cars you're looking at, just misjudged the braking, had a little think about the inside, wasn't committed enough to go up the inside, didn't think the door would stay open long enough, and Spavone out of the race as a result, as well as De Jong. Pit lane opens, everybody flocking in. Paul Verhoeven is there, Adrian Quaife Hobbs is there. Everybody saw what happened when Quaife Hobbs stopped early. Now there's some rear tyres, softs going on to Quaife Hobbs, softs going on to the front here of Giancarlo Serenelli. And it's mix and match time. Serenelli now all on softs. Farhaug out still in front of Quaife Hobbs as he was when they came in. Is the gap bigger or smaller? Hard to tell, but Quaife Hobbs has got to get away from Serenelli. They are on stone cold tyres. Quaife Hobbs cold rears, Serenelli cold fronts. That could be dangerous. Lap 5 of 19. Sergei Sorokin, our race leader, from Chris Van der Drift, and Giacomo Ricci. Here's the Campos team. Oh dear, and the tyre was not out of the way of Giuseppe Cipriani. Nothing he could have done to avoid that. It was laid down by the team member between the wheels. There's Sergei Sorokin, your race leader, over 3.9 seconds in front on the first 4 laps. And in comes Giacomo Ricci from third, in comes Sergio Campana from fourth. Sorokin and Van der Drift stay out. Van der Drift fastest race lap of all now, 1:30.3 compared to 1:30.4 of Sorokin. He's closing the gap down a little, but it's out at over 4 seconds. Speed gun being waved by the marshals at Giacomo Ricci. He goes from super soft onto soft at the front. He's got soft rears as well, not bad. Avoid the wheel nut firing up at the engineer with the gun there. Sorokin, Van der Drift. So what they're going to do now, Sorokin's going to go late for tyres, as late as he can. He's got super soft on the front, soft on the rear, and he will make them last as long as he can. And you see that, Ricci comes out, but immediately under pressure, Campana by Paul Verhaug, and Verhaug goes by Campana, picks up a place, and Campana on cold tyres has got Quaife Hobbs, whose tyres are up to speed now with the yellow wings. Adrian Quaife Hobbs coming up behind him. Campana's going to have to defend very hard indeed from Adrian Quaife Hobbs, who's going to use the over-rev. Probably all three of these guys, and they've got Giancarlo Serenelli behind as well, ready to pick up the pieces if there's contact. Through corner 6, the only long corner on the track. Oh, and Campana looking up the fronts. They're still cold. Quaife Hobbs' tyres are all matched and up to temperature. Can he get close enough to make a pass? Can he force another mistake? Here he comes. Has he got the over-rev on? Doesn't seem to be closing much. It looks like slipstream effect only, so either neither or both are using the over-rev. Fastest man on the track at the moment is Paul Verhaug, the blue car just in front of them with the yellow helmet. Low in the cockpit is Campana ahead of Quaife Hobbs. This was the 1-2 in yesterday's first race. Adrian had a couple of good moves on him, but Campana had some over-revs left. Giacomo Ricci is right in front of them. Sergei Sorokin still leads. A little bit further back, you can see the Argentine. That's Facu Regalia. He's got Jan Cunha with some of a nose wing still attached to his car behind him. Looks like he's already run into the back of Regalia, and he's close again. This thing is not going to stop the way you think you expect it to, Jan. Credit to him, he does get it stopped, and Regalia lets him go by. Well, is this where the damage happens? No, that's where a bit fell off. He'd previously made contact, I would think, with Regalia's gearbox. Quaife Hobbs can't get close enough to try and get by Campana at the moment. Ricci, blue car Verhaug, then Campana and Quaife Hobbs. At the moment, that's 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. Everyone in front must still stop. Sorokin leads by 4.6 from Van der Drift. They're still lapping in the 1-minute 30s. The guys who have changed tyres are also in the 1-minute 30s. So losing nothing at the moment, Sorokin, to those who have already stopped early. He is going just as fast as them, and he has track position and time on his side. If he starts to drop time to them, that's when the team need to get him in pretty darn pronto. He had a 4-second advantage over Chris Van der Drift. That's out to 4.8. Facu Regalia comes in. There's a wheel nut under his front wheel, boys. And that'll get spat out as soon as he moves. No problem with the right rear. It's still not on. Car goes back up. It's still not on. Shades of the Michael Schumacher's there. Giacomo Ricci in 5th place comes towards us. Paul Verhaug, the blue car, then Sergio Campana. Verhaug led a lot yesterday, and this is a nightmare for Regalia. Finally, a wheel nut is made to hang on to the hub. Let's hope it stays hanging on. This is only lap 8 of 19. He's another 12 to go. Ricci, Verhaug, Campana, Quaife Hobbs, Serenelli. This is 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. And this could be the battle for a podium finish. At the moment, Giacomo Ricci at the front of this queue. They've all stopped. They are the leading stopped cars so far. Sorokin, Van der Drift, Cunha and La Rosa are all still out on track, yet to make pit stops. Sorokin goes quickest of all again, another fastest lap, followed by Van der Drift, another fastest lap for him. The tyres are still holding up as the fuel gets burnt off. Ritchie makes a mistake, and it is the challenge from Paul Verhoeven to go around the outside, uses the over-rev well. Ritchie gives him room to survive. Campana makes a mistake. Here comes Quaife Hobbs with the yellow wings behind. A chance for the young British driver to try and make a move. He's trying to go around the outside, down to the hairpin. Campana just survives. He has that covered. Locks up. Quaife Hobbs cuts to the inside, trying to get the drive down. Serenelli's right behind them. Verhoeven is now up to 5th position on the road, with still 4 cars to stop in front. Well, Quaife Hobbs didn't manage to take advantage of the mistake there by Campana, but Verhoeven took advantage of the mistake by Giacomo Ricci. He moves up to 4th place, at the 5th place at the moment, and that might well put Paul Verhoeven on the podium for race 2. Still the 2 cars running away out front with this race are setting fastest laps. A great battle shaping up here. Quaife Hobbs goes defensive into the braking area. Serenelli forced to go the long way around the outside. I'm sensing that Adrian Quaife Hobbs has possibly used up all his over-rev facilities. And he's now being dropped as he has to battle under braking with Serenelli to keep him behind. Giancarlo Serenelli starting to get his teeth into these cars, hasn't scored in the last 3 races. Sergei Sorokin again fastest last time round, 130.0 to 130.1 of Chris Van der Drift. The gap first to second still 4.7 seconds. Quaife Hobbs rides the curb, starting to settle down now and pull away gradually from the challenger behind, and to try and close on the trio of cars in front. There's your race leader, Sergei Sorokin. Young Russian won race 1 in Valencia. And heads down the back straight as Paul Verhoeven in 5th position starts to creep away now from Giacomo Ricci, Sergio Campana and Adrian Quaife Hobbs. And Giancarlo Serenelli in 9th place behind them. Fastest race lap has now come into the 29s, 129.7 from the man in 10th place, Victor Guerin, the young Brazilian in the 2nd Supernova car. Francesco Giacconi being shown the black and white flag for cutting the chicane too often in 11th place. Lots of tyre smoke hanging in the air here, isn't there? This is a big break into corner 7 and 8. There's the lead to Sergei Sorokin with the Dayglow Look Oil highlights, and Chris Van der Drift, the black and yellow Manor MP Motorsport behind him. Well, there's no questioning when he's got the car moving, Sorokin really has what it takes. Certainly belies the fact that he's a relatively wet behind the ears 16-year-old. Raced in Formula Abarth Europe last year, won the title with 5 race wins. He's done 3 years of junior single-seaters in Formula Abarth as he came out of karting. Sorokin really looking strong. If he could get the car away from the line properly when he's claimed pole position, he would be the championship leader by now. I feel pretty sure of that. Giancarlo Serenelli bounces the car over the curb on the exit there. It steps out. He has to modulate the throttle a little as Paul Verhoeven comes up behind. And Michele La Rosa, tyres being bounced by the Uranova crew. There's Sorokin coming in yet. Doesn't look like he's showing much sign of it. Uranova are ready for somebody. They've already had Antonio Spavoni knocked out of the race, so that only leaves Sorokin. They're ready when he asks, and he's not asking yet. And no need either. His last lap, a 1 minute 29.7, another fastest race lap. He's still going quicker than anyone else as Paul Verhoeven goes by Michele La Rosa. That's for 4th place, but La Rosa has yet to stop. As has Jan Koenen in 3rd, Chris Van der Drift in 2nd, and Sergei Sorokin in the lead. Giacomo Ricci down the inside of Michele La Rosa. This is to move up into 5th place. Oh, goodness me. And that was a little bit rash by Sergio Campana. La Rosa trying to make it round the corner. Contact as Campana followed Ricci through. Watch the 3rd car in your picture. La Rosa comes up to the apex as Ricci runs wide. And unfortunately, Campana, the race winner, was in the hole. Well, that was 3 cars tripping over each other, and look who benefited. Ricci escaped. Quaife Hobbs, though, is on his tail. Sergei Sorokin, the fastest man on track still, leading from Chris van der Drift. Jan Koenen yet to stop. Verhagen is now 4th from Ricci, Quaife Hobbs, Serenelli and Guerin. Although Victor Guerin is 1.2 seconds behind Giancarlo Serenelli, he might be a factor. Bouncing down in the braking area and into the pit lane comes Sergei Sorokin. Cars dotted left, right and centre there now, starting to become a bit of an elephant's graveyard for AutoGP World Series machinery. Sorokin takes his pit stop at the end of lap 11 of 19, so he was still the fastest man on track. Chris van der Drift now the race leader. He does another personal best lap for himself. Let's not watch van der Drift now, let's watch the pit stop. Thank you, Euronova. Get the front tyres changed on Sorokin's car. Away he goes. He still has the softs on the rear. He now has softs on the front as well, not the super softs that he started the race with. He's back out on track, and that looked like he was behind. Which of the Ombra racing cars was that? Was that Serenelli or, yes, must be Serenelli, not Jan Koenen. Yikes, Chris van der Drift in the lead. Do not plant it in the wall now. You haven't even made your pit stop. Come on, buddy. Chris van der Drift is the race leader for the first time then, having just set a personal best, as race leader Sergei Sorokin from the off pulled into the pits. Van der Drift with the yellow highlights on softs all round. So you would imagine that he might go for a rear tyre change rather than a front. Sorokin, it looked like, had soft rear and super soft fronts early in the race, and he went on to a soft front as they changed his tyres. No tyre warmers, which means that the tyre is cold and does lack grip for the first lap or so. And with the front tyres, that means you struggle under braking and turning into the chicanes. With the rear tyres, you struggle under braking and trying to get the power down. There's more of a fight with cold rears than cold fronts, though, I'm given to understand. Well, Sorokin, no, still super softs on the front. So the yellow markings we could see were numbers or whatever it is from the team that they'd marked on it, rather than super soft markings, rather than soft tyre markings. So new super softs on the front. He's clearly quite happy with that, giving him lots of bite on turn-in. Chris van der Drift, 1:29.58, fastest race lap of all now, still out front. Now, can he use that to try and close down the gap that would exist otherwise between him and Sergei Sorokin? There is Sorokin. Having stopped, it is Jan Koenen in front of him, who has yet to stop, who's in second. Sorokin from the lead comes back out of the pits in 3rd place ahead of Paul Verhaug by, what was, 7 seconds. So Chris van der Drift has got to really nail this now if he's to stand any chance of catching Sorokin. And for the Manor MP Motorsport team, who include Chris's brother, who's working with the team, they will be under real pressure to make a clean, quick pit stop to get him back out and still on the podium. How close, though, can he get to Sergei Sorokin? Well, Sorokin's outlap a 1:38.5. So I'll make a note of that, and we'll see what van der Drift's is, at least if I remember, or something other exciting doesn't happen. 4 to go at the end of this. Van der Drift still stays out. Jan Koenen still stays out. And Sorokin's first flying lap, a 1:30.2. Van der Drift's a 1:29.6. So Van der Drift's still 6/10 quicker on that lap than Sorokin. He's bringing it in a little bit. Then the battle for 3rd now, or 4th now. Verhaug the blue car, Ricci the red, white and black. Then Quaife Hobbs the dark blue and yellow. And Serenelli the blue and white Ombra racing car. Well, Quay Fobbs unable quite to get back in touch with Giacomo Ricci after all the kerfuffle down here at the hairpin 3 or so laps ago. But just in front of Serenelli, championship leader, third in this queue of 5. His teammate, 5th in that queue of 5. That's Victor Guerin on the back in the second Supernova car. Guerin, the Brazilian, really flying. So is Van der Drift. Guerin with the fastest first sector on the last lap of anyone in the race. Van der Drift, the leader, staying out, and another fastest race lap. 1:29.478 now for Van der Drift. Guerin is the only man who's matching his pace. Guerin has made 2 pit stops. Guerin on the back now of this group. Despite making 2 stops, he is still in the top 8 and on the queue, the back of the queue for 4th place. There's Sergei Sorokin, last lap 1:30.2. Van der Drift nearly a full second quicker. Goodness me, this could be a really dramatic last gasp pit stop for Chris Van der Drift, who has not stopped yet, nor has Jan Cunha. And if Jan Cunha holds up Sergei Sorokin in any way, Van der Drift might be in position to win this race. Blue car of Farhaug under pressure from Giacomo Ricci, and this will likely be for a podium finish. One of these guys is likely to be third, not sure who at the moment. Then Quay Fobbs, Serenelli and Guerin, who's just dropped a little off the back of Giancarlo Serenelli. Well, there's Sorokin in the foreground, big gap between him and Farhaug. And Farhaug checking the mirrors. Ricci showing his nose as they bump down to the chicane. Very bouncy there in the braking area. There's your race leader, Chris Van der Drift, still racking up the fastest race laps. Into the pit lane he comes now at the end of lap 16. Okay, calm heads everybody. Very calm in the Manor Motorsport, Manor MP Motorsport team. Sergei Sorokin is charging on. And in comes the Kiwi, a very appropriate Antipodean camera view of that. Changing fronts, are they on? They are, he's gone. Soft rear, super soft front. They will be a little cold, but he will have traction. And he will have the lead. Will he have the lead? Jan Cunha, the white and blue car, comes to the line. Van der Drift comes out. Cunha has still got to stop. Van der Drift is in front of Sorokin. What an epic set of laps from Chris Van der Drift to overturn a near 5-second advantage from Sergei Sorokin into a disadvantage. And here comes Giacomo Ricci, the red, white and black, on the outside of Paul Verhaug. Verhaug holds on under braking. Can he get it to the third apex? Just about. Wow, race 1 was exciting. Race 2 is really starting to come alive in the closing stages as well. Farhaug really defending. You sense that Ricci has got something left. He has. He comes again, and he's overhauling him down the straight, and Ricci has got track advantage. They come up to the back chicane, and around the nose. This time he can't make it. Oh, and Guerin clatters Quay Fobbs, but doesn't take him out, but he does take out Serenelli, who tries to get going again. Wow, Victor Guerin nearly took his own teammate out of the race there. Somehow he just brushed the back of Adrian Quay Fobbs, and Ricci is trying again. Ricci surely has got over revs left, and it looks like Farhaug has not in the blue car. Meanwhile, Chris Van der Drift is the race leader from Jan Cunha and Sergei Sorokin. Cunha is still to stop and will be irrelevant in this. Wow, look at this again. Watch the car in the background with the yellow wings. Loses it. Does he touch Quay Fobbs? I'm not sure if he does or not. Goodness me. Well, Guerin lost control there. But look at this battle. This, I think, will be for third. In comes Jan Cunha. Now, he was in second place. Sorokin, fastest race lap of all now. Van der Drift's outlap at 1:35.7, 1:38.5 for Sorokin. So Van der Drift's outlap was quicker as well than Sorokin. Sorokin now with the fastest race lap as we watch Farhaug, Ricci and Quay Fobbs. This is third, fourth and fifth. And Farhaug's in all sorts of trouble now. Struggling to get the car off the corners. And Ricci is in hunter-killer mode. Here he comes again, Giacomo with a good run. This is a really good run this time from Giacomo Ricci. He wants a podium so badly he can taste it. Around the outside, and Farhaug again tries to hang on. He goes wide over the chicane. Here comes Quay Fobbs around the outside. He's going to try and go around the outside as well. No, can't quite make it, but he has got by Giacomo Ricci. Van der Drift leads. Sorokin is trying to close the gap. It's less than a second, first to second, and the battle for third is taking their eyes off it. Verhaug with Quaife, Hobbs and Ritchie. Fantastic stuff. Sorry if it sounds like the final furlongs of the Grand National, but this is epic racing from everybody concerned. Paul Verhaug in the blue car clinging on. And Adrian Quaife Hobbs having a little look, trying to have a lunge, not quite close enough to make a move. Behind them, big lock-up from the wingless Guerin, Serenelli in the background, but it is all about the top five. And here's the lead battle, back with Chris Van der Drift with the yellow wings. Sergei Sorokin right behind him. The gap was 0.9 down to 0.4 of a second now. Sorokin faster in sector 2, but Van der Drift with track advantage. He put in an epic series of laps as Sorokin made his pit stop, and Van der Drift has turned the race on its head. Van der Drift leads. Who's got what left? Who has got any push to pass? Who's got some over rev? Van der Drift stays in front of Sorokin. Last lap of the race. All or nothing now for the Russian. Are we going to see a last lap lunge here? Are we going to see a last lap lunge in the battle for third? Yes! Adrian Quaife Hobbs trying to go around the outside and again! Paul Verhaug just getting it under braking. Just into corner 4 and 5. Corner 6 and Quaife Hobbs tucking in tight. No chance to get through into the braking area for 7 and 8. But on the straight, here he comes again. A really good exit from Adrian Quaife Hobbs. He's got great traction in that Supernova car. But the virtuosi driver, Paul Verhaug, still hanging on. And Giacomo Ricci staying out of harm's way. Quaife Hobbs on the dirt, up the inside. Can he get it stopped? He's made the pass. Can he make the chicane? He does, but Verhaug doesn't. Quaife Hobbs under pressure from Ricci now on the exit. Verhaug will get a penalty. It's not about Paul Verhaug, but Chris Van der Drift is going to take the win here. Final lap, final corner. Chris Van der Drift wins from Sergei Sorokin by 0.6 of a second. Verhaug will not get third. He got an advantage by straight line in the chicane. It's Giacomo Ricci who will take third place. Quaife Hobbs in fourth position unless Ricci gets held up by Verhaug. And can Quaife Hobbs run him to the line? It's going to be Verhaug at the line, but Giacomo Ricci will be given third. Quaife Hobbs in fourth position. Paul Verhaug can't hang on to that third place because he straight-lined the back chicane. But another new winner here in the MotoGP World Series. First win for Chris Van der Drift and the first win for Manor MP Motorsport as well. Last lap drama here. Quaife Hobbs dives inside Paul Verhaug, who stayed too late on the brakes, and that will cost Verhaug a place on the podium. Quaife Hobbs had done what he needed to. Further on down the field though, here's the second virtuosi car. And Draconi just hanging on from Cipriani as the checkered flag waves in the distance. Draconi winning the car on, winning it on as he takes 8th place. Cipriani in 9th by a whisker. 10th place will go to Facu Regalia. Giancarlo Serenelli, the car crabbing down the straight. That's what's happened to him, I'm afraid. He's made contact with something firm, but there's no doubting the winner. Chris Van der Drift. There's Giancarlo Serenelli just trying to get the car to the line. And Chris Van der Drift on the slowing down lap will come up behind the abandoned car of Serenelli. He's given up the unequal struggle of trying to crab it all the way to the checkered flag. Wow, what a series of blistering laps around the leader's pit stop that have won this race for Chris Van der Drift. The Kiwi on really electrifying form in that middle period of the race, and he turned a near 5-second disadvantage to Sorokin into a jubilant win. Congratulations to Manor MP Motorsport, their first MotoGP win. Chris Van der Drift being congratulated by the Manor MP Motorsport team, some of them in local mufti. Congratulations, Kiwi, well done, champ. Former champion in another World Touring Car Support Race Series, Formula Master. There is Euronova boss Vincenzo Sospiri with his man Sergei Sorokin, who finished in 2nd place, having led early on. And this was the moment when all the hard work and demon lappery for Chris Van der Drift paid off. He came back out of the pits in front of Sergei Sorokin, who had built up a 5-second lead before the pit stops. It was a great run of laps. Van der Drift was on an absolute tear, and he will be thrilled with that. Let's hear from him now. He's with Ben Constangiris.
Winner of yet another fantastic AutoGP race, Chris. It was those soft tyres just lasted forever.
Yeah, and compared to yesterday, it's it's like a completely different tyre, and I was surprised how quickly I could just chuck away. And they started getting faster and faster. Oh, here we go! And then I started really going at it. And then when Sirotkin came in the box, engineers are going, you need to really push now. Then I just boom, started to put half a second quicker, and then I could just keep that pace all the way to the end. And the pit stop was fantastic. And the outlet was good, so just fantastic. First win back since my crash now, so feels good, and just happy for the team and happy for everyone for the hard work we've put in. So we finally got a win.
Great job.
Thank you.
It was a great job. It's interesting, isn't it? It's the first time they've used the tyres on a street circuit. They're still learning all sorts of things about the different nature of these three different types of Kumho tyre. We've had the medium and the soft, and now the soft and the super soft. So discovering new stuff all the time. And as he said, reacting to when the car's just going quicker and quicker, he leans on it harder and harder. And it was that blistering series of maybe half a dozen laps that ended up winning the race for him. His first since that massive shunt in Brands Hatch, and just thrilled to see him on the top step of the podium ahead of Sergei Sirotkin. But I'm afraid Paul Verhaag is going to lose that third place. Giacomo Ricci, I believe, will and indeed should end up on the podium in third place. But fantastic action again from AutoGP here in